pump. Yeah, no, that's still off a little lip. I mean, I'm still just slightly slipping the clutch, like, you know, I'm just, yeah, it's more responsive than the WR. And
yeah. I can tell, like, I mean, a lot of difference. This thing, I'm not, it's like ice cold, so, you know, I'm like being super gentle. It's just like a big electric diesel. I would say, I mean, this one to me, like, I got more trust in the front end right now.
Yeah.
Which is surprising to say with that front tire.
Yeah.
But
it's all about the rake or something.
Yeah. Trust the front end more, there's that. But this, I would say, big electric diesel motor and more feels like, I don't know, the way it's smooth and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it obviously can go really fast.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a race bike, but
yeah.
to me, this is almost more like I said, modern KTM.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That was much more aggressive and racy.
Yeah.
You know, the sound of the motor, like the throttle response,
yeah.
like all of that. So.
Yeah.
But again, like throttle response could easily just change the jet, you know, or the throttle.
Yeah.
Make it bushy.
Yeah.
This thing's just like, whoa. Now that thing's got 120 hours of a piston too. Who knows how much more torque comes back? I mean, it seems to run perfectly fine. It doesn't. I mean, it starts right away. It doesn't seem like low on compression in any way.
I've came out of some corners back there. I've been in third. First, I was like in second. I'm like, nah, like I can probably do third. So I went up to third, and then like some corners came up, and like it was kind of dusty, so I didn't see it. And I was still in third, and doing like 3 miles an hour, and I just let the clutch back out.
Yeah,
Didn't even hesitate.
So that's what I said about like I don't ride at very high RPMs because it's always like third gear is always where I try to stay. Second gear, like on these wide ratio bikes, is kind of like first, and then first gear is like full on stuck in the one.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's got tons of torque. Suspension.
That thing responds.
Yeah.
This is like. This has like response. Like,
yeah.
Torque, you know, I know people say that PI bikes don't like them because they don't put a operating and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, this one's like it's running right with the new sensor. I mean, like third speed is still like,
Is it throttle better? Is it not? You don't have to.
yeah, I'm not noticing a big.
Okay, good.
It's going back. I mean, it's still like. I mean, it's like heavier than that. Like that's almost like too light and like snappy now. But it could just be that I'm used to this heavier throttle.
Yeah.
This is the heaviest throttle I've ever used.
Really?
The 350s is Then maybe that's like also like something to do with like rough conditions. Maybe like turns out, you know, that the guys who develop these
yeah, no shit.
say, no, I want a heavy throttle.
Yeah.
Heavier because it allows me to control it better.
That's true. Less chance of whiskey throttle.
Because that's the way I felt on that. Like when I first got on, I was like, oh shit, I'm like, made a couple bumps. And this thing like ran half.
Yeah. Well, there was one time I used the front brake and I was standing up and it felt like the front end, I mean, I was kind of like, oh shit, but it wasn't enough to like, I wasn't like, oh shit. Like, I felt like I was closer to not crashing than I was to not crashing, but it still was like, you know, I felt the front end slide a little bit, but it wasn't anything like scary. But no, I mean, it's kind of what I've been wanting right now. Like I said, I've been kind of wanting some more excitement out of the WR, and right now this is, you know, it's giving it to me without being like too, like I said, yeah, when I have like wheelied over the little bumps, it hasn't like this on me, so it's being pretty tolerable. And I just switched it back over to soft like 2 minutes back, so we'll see. Hey, see you guys.
How's it running?
Well, better now. When we first took it out, I took it down the road and it was like bogging down. And then he took it on the trails. He's like, you know, yeah, and the higher RPMs, it's doing that. But
you gotta keep the RPMs
well,
up, man.
Then we were getting ready to leave and it wouldn't start. It fell to plug. But then he changed the plug and now that girling's all gone. So she's ripping now.
I don't remember what the last time it was ran, like whether it had a bunch of idling on it.
Well, plus you had it tuned.
That stuff gets gummed up too. I mean, because you're premix, right?
Yeah.
That shit gums up if you don't clean it out.
Premix is in it. I've never ran it before. It's Watts R50.
Yeah.
I've never ran it, so it could be.
Well, that and plus,
it's not too tolerant of low RPMs. So.
Maybe the way you had it jetting for the SX head and the, the SX computer and the head and stuff. But no, it's running good.
They're finicky little shits.
Right?
But once you get them dialed in,
yeah.
Except for ours, because they're more computer controlled.
Right? Yeah.
They're a little bit easier.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
We're just poking around stuff we haven't been on.
Really?
Sidewinder's one of them, so.
Okay.
You ready?
So far, so good. So, oh yeah. Front end did it again, but it caught itself. Yeah. I was like, oh! But, yeah. I don't know if it would happen, probably would have happened on another bike too, but. Took a rock to the chest. Yeah.
I didn't know you were that close.
I was off to the right too. I wasn't that close.
So running clean now?
Yeah, I got on it. I got up to 58. recognize this spot. This is where I was turning around forever in the WR because I didn't see this trail.
Yeah.
And then I saw that, I was like, is that the fucking highway? Because I heard, it was dark. I heard cars and I saw like, whatever, you know. Get arm pumps, so I'm just kind of cruising.
We're gonna have to
Front end.
ride too long by the time we turn around and get back and get unloaded, to get loaded back up and stuff. We'll have to turn around here a little bit.
I was able to like a couple of those puddles where I felt safe with what was in front of me with like getting on it. Like I can't bring the front end up like that, but I was able to bring the front tire up just enough to where it cleared the puddle, and so I felt pretty proud of myself for that. Front end didn't go psh and get all wet. I mean, yeah.
This thing, like, it's funny, it's like gurgling and stuff sometimes today. I'm like, it's back to being gurgly. I don't know. Electron.
left arm pump. Caught some air back there. Yeah, I was like, oh, woohoo! Yeah, I probably got a, yeah. Oh, shit. Move my arm. It's weird because it's like, yeah, that's weird because like, it vibrates more, but like I got arm pump later. You know, like the WR, I had it like, you know, I generally get it like within the first 5 minutes of riding. And then after like, seems like an hour or two when you think you should be done, it's like I get a second wind and things are better. But right now I'm going through that phase where, you know, like I'm not beat, but it's just my arms that are holding me back. Yeah. I do feel like this front brake can get me in trouble. Like it maybe is a little too on and off. I mean, it hasn't shut me down or anything, but I do kind of notice what you're talking about. Like, if you're kind of like, you know, if you're kind of like, oh shit, I need to pull a brake, and you're standing up, like, I might not be able to get to the rear brake fast enough by the time I sit down and hit the brakes. I need to use the front brake, which I generally use anyways, just because it's easier. And like I feel like if you're kind of in a fast moment, you might hit it too quick or something. But that, and then yeah, suspension does feel softer than WR. But man, like, cool in the videos, like, see, I mean, I had it in fourth in some places, but, yeah, I mean, it just, still ugly. At the top end, like, yeah, it didn't really, it's not like the 150 where it fucking pulled. And you didn't know when it was going to stop. This, you can tell when it stops pulling.
Well, screen spring,
Yeah.
back seat.
Oh, I know. It's the way it's, yeah, the way it's,
That pipe kills the top.
yeah. No, I know it's just the way it's set up right now, but, yeah. So, no, it's going better than I thought. So, just fucking arm pump, God. Helps a little bit sitting here. I'm gonna ride that before we go. Ooh. to be shorter, so I can, like, you know, just picky about what ground you gotta be on. Perfect timing. This is different. Holy crap. This thing's so light. faster on this? Think I'm faster on this?
Well, I'm slow on this too. Right now, because I'm just like, oh, I'm like so used to like one feel. But it's funny, it make me want to like switch to the 350 and see like if I feel a difference on the 350. But I feel this like this is more like it's like this is more visceral. And I'd like to go to the stock silencer. I said before I like the stock silencer better.
Yeah.
Like I think the stock silencer has more of a linear pull with this. But the motor's like seems like totally fine.
I'm not talking about the engine. Like right when I got on it, I was like, holy shit, this is different. Like
for me, like my big fear factor is like this thing, everything takes bigger inputs, and this takes smaller inputs. I was worried about coming from that with big inputs to small inputs, and like grabbing a handful of brake or something, or fistful of throttle.
yeah.
So that was like my concern.
I don't know, man. I don't want to talk shit about that bike because like the motor's great, but I'm talking about the overall feel of it. I mean, I got on this thing, and I mean, it took me. My arm pump was gone, but then we passed that guy because I thought we were going faster, and then he was on my ass, so it pushed me to fucking go faster. But luckily, I didn't eat shit in front of him. But I mean, just instantly. By the way, I'm flicking this thing around like a mountain bike. I noticed myself like skeeting it out, like and. I feel like I'm able to throw it around a lot easier. Like it's more confidence building for like. Fucking A. The suspension. I went over those rocks on the WR, that rocky where we passed that kid that was sitting there. I went over it in the WR. I said, you know, that beat the hell out of me. That was better, but I was so like,
Well, I thought this was like okay going down the road. And I was going down instead of up. I thought I was like, oh, this like. And here's one thing I noticed with this. This, when on like the whoops, like this handled the whoops better.
yeah.
Than that. That like.
I like this on
It's
those.
fine, but it will go. Kind of feels like it goes through it. This one felt like it took the whoops better.
Fuck, I don't know. Everything about this is better in my mind. It just suits me so much better. Yeah, I mean the brakes I like better. Like it's just fucking. It's almost the perfect fucking bike, and I've said that since the first time I rode it. It just sucks I started getting that arm pump, but I got on video. I almost ate it. I hit something, and I did have to like throw my legs off and go, oh shit, and catch myself. And a log this big came up right. I mean, it probably looks crazy on camera because it was right here, flying up, and I think it hit. I don't know if it hit here. It didn't hit my face, but big old log this big just comes up right in front of me. I'm like, whoa, that was intense. But yeah, right away, like when I got on it, and like we were on that coming back, like on that first like opening, like I was just like, man, I felt like I was like coming down on a downhill mountain bike. I mean, it's still not as light, you know, as the YZ, but it was just instantaneously more flickable. And the front end is so much lighter, but it, like you were saying, I feel more confident in the front end, even though that front end's heavier, and you would think, oh, it's more planted. It's not how it feels to me. It's lighter, like, but I had more confidence in it.
As far as I know, it's only 2 generations of frame. 17 frame and then the 19 like minor changes.
I mean, like, yeah, I mean the 300's awesome. I just wonder if like, because I was riding this in fourth. Yeah, fourth was sweet spot for going around, like to not spin out, and then to roll it on around like, you know, the corners and not spin out. So that's where I like the 300. I mean, not that won't do that, but I was just wondering this bike in a 250 if it would not have as much grunt. Because like you said, this thing will still, you can still whiskey for all of a sudden, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it's got, yeah, if you grab a big old handful of that, I mean, it will do kind of like hitting some 450 kind of stuff.
yeah.
Scary.
But at the same time, it's like it's predictable, and then when it does happen, it you're not really like afraid of it.